Valentine's Day is just a few days away. A few days away. I know it's snuck up on us. So it doesn't matter if you're single. It doesn't matter if you just met somebody or if you're dating somebody. I have a few do's and some don'ts to help make sure you don't mess this up. So women, if your man has done bad in the past or he needs a little help, go get him and make sure he's listening to this too, okay? And then men, I'm gonna help you out again so you don't mess up. I'm gonna make sure that you make that special woman in your life feel like she's the special woman in your life. So welcome back to Relationships Ain't Easy. We're talking about Valentine's Day, and we're talking about Valentine's Day dates. And we're talking about how not to mess up those dates, okay? I'm going to give you some do's and don'ts real quick to help make sure, like I said before, you make that special lady in your life feel like she's a special lady in your life, okay? These are some things I'm going to be transparent. I'm still learning this too. So you're in good company, guys. If you're having trouble with this, it's something you got to learn, and we're going to learn it together, okay? So it's do's and don'ts. Now, I'm going to be splitting up some do's and don'ts between three different categories. If you're single, if you just met someone, I call it the friend stage, and I'll explain what that stage is later. Or if you've been dating for a while, okay? So those three right there. So first is you're single. So you're single, you're not seeing anybody, there's no one you're talking to. It's just you. Now, you're probably thinking, well, if there's no one I'm talking to, then what am I here for? So if you're single and you want a lifelong fulfilling marriage, so you're looking for a wife, now's your time to practice so when you do get a special lady in your life, you don't mess it up, okay? You're going to be ready for it. So when you're single, this is what I want you to do. What you're going to do is you're going to find one or two people in your family. It's like for me, it would be my mom and my sister. But, depending on your situation and your budget, I don't know, you may have three sisters, or you may just have an aunt or a grandma or whatever. Pick a few people, and what you're going to do is you're going to think about the kind of things they like. Like, do they like, I don't know, maybe your mom likes pink roses, or maybe there's a specific type of chocolate your sister likes, or maybe your aunt likes balloons. Whatever it is, you're going to figure out one or two things. And depending on your budget, you're going to do one of these two things. You're either going to just get one of them or you're going to get both of them. Okay? So that's what you're going to do. What you're not going to do is just walk up to your mom, your sister, or whoever and just say, hey, what do you want for Valentine's Day? I understand that seems like a direct approach, but this, again, you're practicing. What that communicates to them is you don't care enough to think it out because you just came to them and you want them to answer it. So in essence, they feel like they're just picking out their own thing and they're having to make you do something. So they're like, well, if you don't want to do it, I don't want anything. So what you are going to do instead is you're going to think about stuff that they like, and then you're going to come up to them and ask them and say, hey, for Valentine's Day, I was thinking about getting you a single pink rose and a balloon. How does that sound? So you're probably thinking, well, aren't you still asking them, John? Like, that's no different. Well, in one case, you're walking up to them with no information at all. You're just saying, hey, what do you want? The other way is just saying, hey, I thought this out and I think that you'll like these two things or one of these two things. Which am I right? So that's different. So you're showing that you put forth some effort and you thought about it first. That's the difference. And again, if you're only buying one thing because you're on a budget, or maybe you're buying, maybe you got three sisters and two close cousins or girls. So you're like, I can only buy one thing for all six of you. Just say, I was thinking, what would matter to you more for Valentine's Day? Would it be, a single rose, or would it be a balloon, or would it be chocolate, or whatever? And they'll tell you. Now, the next thing you're going to do, and before I tell you what you're going to do, I'm going to tell you why the don't and what you're not going to do. What you're not going to do is just wait to the end of the day and hand it to them. What you are going to do is you're going to, if at all possible, there has to be a very good reason why you can't do this, but you're going to first, the best case scenario is you're going to actually deliver it in person to them at work or at school. Two, if you can't do that, have it delivered, have someone else deliver it for you. So pay for it to be delivered to them at work or at school. The reason why is the last thing that you want, and remember you're practicing, the last thing you want is to get to the end of the day and your girlfriend or your wife, and they had to go through the whole day at work or at school, seeing everybody else get Valentine's Day gifts. And then even worse is if someone asks, hey, did your boyfriend or your husband get you something? And they had to say no. That's what you don't want, okay? But you want to make sure that they get something that day so they don't have to go through the whole day watching watching other people get stuff and then hope and wonder, are they going to get something? Okay, you don't want that. You're trying to make them feel special. So make sure you take it to them if you can. If you can't, have it delivered, okay? Now it's going to take some planning. Again, this is what you're going to do. You're going to plan ahead. So if you're going to buy them a rose from, some company or website or whatever, you're going to have to buy it in advance, okay? You're not just making this up the morning of. Hey, pro tip is, if you're buying like a single rose or something like that, you can go to things like Trader Joe's. A lot of grocery stores will sell roses, and they may not be packaged as nicely, but you can still get them a little cheaper, okay? So that's a pro tip. You're welcome. So that's if you're single. Now, if you're in the friend stage, and so you're probably saying like, what's the friend stage? Well, I have a whole podcast on, the different stages that you should go through before you get married. And I do a podcast on each one of those. So you can check that out on YouTube. But the friend stage means it's really that really early stage where you may have just met them or you're getting to know them as a friend first. You want to make sure that whoever you marry is a good friend. A good husband or wife will be a good friend. Okay. That doesn't mean every good friend will be a good husband or wife, but a good wife or a good husband will be a good friend. So just make sure you have friendship first. Then you can start adding the romance to it. So that's the friendship stage. And again, you can listen to that more. And I'll put that in the description, those podcasts. So if you're in the friend stage, what you are not going to do, I repeat, what you're not going to do is you're not going to say, I love you. This is not your time to confess your love to them. No XOs, hugs and kisses. No, be my Valentines, okay? You're not going to do any of that. You're basically going to do something very similar to what you would do for your sister or your mom, right? You're going to get them like a single flower, single rose, and then maybe, small little box of chocolate, something like that, a balloon. Now you will again try to make sure that they get it at school or at work or whatever, but it's going to be a friendly Valentine, not a romantic one. So you just send them this and you can surprise them if you want to. It just, but you can also send them a text. This text is going to be just simple. Again, there's no love you, nothing like that. You're just going to say, this is what you are going to do. You're going to say, hey, happy Valentine's Day. Or I hope you had a great Valentine's Day. Simple. Okay. Very simple. You guys are just in the friend stage. You are purposely not trying to move into romance. That's something you can do at a later time, and you can decide when you decide to date between the two of you. So the do's for when you're in the friend stage is buy something very simple, very small, very inexpensive, and just kind of be nonchalant about it. Send them a text maybe and just say, happy Valentine's Day. What you're not going to do is say, I love you. You're not declaring your love for them, okay? Now, dating, this is where the romance comes into it, okay? At this point in time, you are dating and you've already established that you're great friends, so now you're dating and romance is into it, and you're trying to see if, this is where you start getting a little more serious about trying to figure out if this person is a good prospect to be a husband or wife. Okay. So what you are going to do is make sure you take them out on a date. You're in the dating stage. You're going to take them out on a date. Now, here's some of the most important things. Okay. Or here's the most important thing with the date. You're going to plan it in advance. You are going to plan the date in advance. Plan it in advance. Okay. Again, do not try to throw something together the day of. And what you're not going to do is ask her what she wants to do. And when I say that, I mean just ask her what to do with no, where you haven't thought anything through yet. Okay. So you're going to plan it first. And I'm going to help you out with that planning. These are some do's, and this is what you are going to do. You are going to actually think about things she would like to do. You're going to think about the girl that you're dating and what she would like. And look, it has to be something meaningful to her. And this could be different for everybody. Maybe she just wants to go to a coffee shop and talk. She has a favorite coffee shop. There's even places that they have board games and card games, and you guys can, play card games and stuff like that. Of course, you can go to movies. There's museums, aquariums. You can go ice skating. There's some cities have these places where you can go walk. It's in the public, and they got places to eat and all sorts of stuff, and you can go walk. Maybe she's into CrossFit. I don't know, or she likes to do wall climbing. Whatever. You need to know your girl. Okay, so you're gonna plan this out, and you're gonna make sure that she knows what time it is. It's important. Let her know what time it is, because you plan it in advance. Now you can tell her in advance. Now, if you want to surprise your girl because if you want to surprise your girl because she likes surprises, she still needs to know at least these two things. What time are you coming to pick her up? You can also probably give her an idea how long, you're going to be out. And then how she needs to dress. If she likes wall climbing, then you let her know, casual stuff. If, you're going to ballroom dancing or some fancy restaurant, she might need to be in a dress. So you just need to communicate how she needs to dress and what time you're going to pick her up. And then now, once you plan this out, then you can say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. If it's a surprise, you can just tell her, hey, if I pick you up at this time and this is the dress code, is that enough time for you to get ready? Or how's that sound? And I have a surprise for you. You can say it like that. That's good. Let her talk into it. If you're going to tell her everything, let her know again, plan it out. Hey, I want to pick you up at this time. I was thinking we could go to your favorite coffee shop, and then we can also, after that, catch a movie, or, there's a place we can go walk in town, and we can do that. It's going to be simple. You don't have to spend a lot for it to be a good date. It just needs to be meaningful. Now, here's the other thing you are not going to do on the date. You're not going to be staring at your phone, and you're not going to just be, talking about nothing. You're going to be extra intentional with the questions you ask her. You're actually going to come up with about 5 questions to ask her in advance to talk about, so you can get to know her better. Now, these are going to be good questions that you can ask her, and then she could ask you right back, so you guys can both get to know each other. A quick example of that would be something like, tell me how you and your family celebrate Christmas, but you want an open-ended question so a conversation can start. Because if you just ask something like, do you celebrate Christmas? Then the answer could be no. That's the end of the conversation. So you can ask stuff like, how do you celebrate Christmas? So, they can say, oh, we open our gifts on this day and we always listen to this song and da, da, da. Then you can explain yours. You want to ask questions, again, things that you don't know about her, you want to know more. Another good question could be like, why do you want to become a doctor so much? Like, what drives you? Questions like that. So you can get to know her more, and then be ready to answer the question if she asks it back to you. Okay? So, men, we're not going to mess up Valentine's Day today. Sorry, we're not going to mess up Valentine's date this time. If you're single, You know what your mission is. It's time for you to practice with the people around you. Anyway, and, you know, it'll make your sister or your mom or your cousin, aunt, grandma, whatever, it'll make them feel special to get that. Okay. So you're going to practice with them being intentional. And then if you just met someone, you're in that friendship stage, you're going to give them something very small, and you're not going to be romantic about it, but you're just going to tell them, you know, happy Valentine's Day with the text and get them something small. And then if you're dating, you're going to be intentional. You're going to plan ahead, especially if you're going to a fancy restaurant, even a restaurant at all, because there are some restaurants who don't normally take reservations, but during Valentine's Day, they require that. So you should probably call two weeks ahead, at least a week. Make sure you got that, but you're going to plan it out, and then you're going to, you know, run it by the special girl. And then you're going to also have some questions, about 5 questions to ask that are open-ended questions. Okay. So please, in the comments, let me know how your day went. Let me know what helped, what worked for you, what didn't work for you. If you got some bad Valentine's Day dates in the past, women, let me know. And especially, women, I want to hear your frustration with us men, your frustration with us men and how we've messed up dates, especially when we don't plan them. Please tell me that. Now, if you've enjoyed this, you've liked it, hit the subscribe button, like this. If you have comments or questions like about this and you want me to answer them, you know, on the podcast, the best way would probably be to actually go to Instagram at Relationships Ain't Easy, no apostrophe, and send me a DM and, you know, just ask the question. And if it's a great one, if it's one I can build a podcast over, I will shout out your name and I'll make the podcast over it and answer your question. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys again for stopping by and listening, and I will see you next time.